In the heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds and streets buzzed with endless activity, lived Evelyn Hartley, a woman whose name was synonymous with wealth and influence. She wasn't just rich, she was billionaire rich. But behind her polished exterior and designer suits lay a quiet struggle that no amount of money could ease. Evelyn's life revolved around her 12-year-old daughter, Lily, who had cerebral palsy. Despite her physical limitations, Lily radiated joy. Her laugh was infectious, her curiosity boundless, and her spirit unbreakable. To Evelyn, Lily wasn't just her child, she was her entire world. Every day was a balancing act for Evelyn. On one hand, she juggled board meetings, business deals, and philanthropic ventures. On the other, she ensured Lily received the best care possible while nurturing her dreams and independence. It wasn't easy being a single mother to a child with special needs, especially in a society that often overlooked people like Lily. But Evelyn refused to let anything dim her daughter's light. She fought tirelessly to make sure Lily felt valued, loved, and included in every way. One sunny afternoon, Evelyn decided it was time for something different. They hadn't been out together in weeks because of her hectic schedule, and she missed spending quality time with Lily. "How about we go somewhere fun today?" Evelyn asked as she adjusted Lily's wheelchair. Lily's eyes lit up at the suggestion. After some thought, Evelyn chose an upscale cafe downtown, a place she rarely visited but thought would be perfect for a little celebration. It wasn't about luxury, it was about creating memories. When they arrived at the cafe, the hostess greeted them warmly and led them to a cozy corner table by the window. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with soft jazz music playing in the background. Evelyn ordered their favorite dishes, savoring the rare opportunity to relax. For once, she didn't check her phone or think about work emails. Instead, she focused entirely on Lily, chatting about school, books, and even silly jokes. But then, reality briefly interrupted their peaceful moment. Evelyn's assistant called with urgent news about a critical business deal requiring immediate attention. Reluctantly, she excused herself, stepping away from the table to take the call outside. She promised Lily she'd return soon, leaving her daughter happily distracted by the colorful view outside the cafe window. What Evelyn didn't know was that this brief absence would lead to an encounter that would change both their lives forever. While Evelyn paced nearby, trying to resolve the issue over the phone, the young waiter approached Lily's table. He noticed the girl struggling to reach her fork and instinctively stepped in to help. With warmth and patience, he began feeding her, making small talk to keep her comfortable. Little did he, or Evelyn, know that this simple act of kindness would set off a chain of events neither of them could have anticipated. As Evelyn stood outside the cafe, her phone pressed to her ear, she couldn't shake the feeling of guilt for leaving Lily alone. But inside, something remarkable was unfolding. Alex Carter, a young waiter with tired eyes but a warm smile, had been observing the pair since they arrived. He noticed the way Evelyn doted on her daughter, speaking softly and adjusting Lily's napkin with care. It was clear that this wasn't just another customer. It was a mother pouring her heart into making her child feel special. When Evelyn stepped away, Alex saw Lily struggling to reach her fork. The utensil kept slipping from her grasp, and frustration began to creep into her expression. Without hesitation, Alex approached the table. "Hi there," he said gently, his voice calm and reassuring. "Mind if I help you with that?" Lily looked up at him, her big brown eyes curious but trusting. She nodded slightly, and Alex carefully picked up the fork, feeding her small bites of food while keeping the mood light with cheerful conversation. "Do you like school?" Alex asked as he handed her another bite. Lily smiled and tried to respond, though her words were soft and muffled by the effort it took to speak. Alex didn't mind. He leaned in closer, listening intently, letting her know she was heard. "That sounds awesome," he replied enthusiastically, even when he didn't fully catch what she said. His kindness put Lily at ease, and soon she was giggling at one of his silly jokes about a clumsy giraffe trying to eat spaghetti. What made Alex stand out wasn't just his willingness to help. It was the way he did it. There was no pity in his actions, no awkwardness or discomfort. He treated Lily like any other person, chatting with her as if they were old friends. This wasn't the first time Alex had gone out of his way to assist someone in need. Growing up in a tight-knit family where everyone pitched in, he learned early on that small acts of kindness could make a big difference. Even now, working long hours to support his younger siblings after losing his scholarship, Alex never lost sight of the importance of compassion. Evelyn returned just as Alex was finishing up, catching sight of the scene before him. Her breath caught in her throat as she watched the young man laugh with her daughter, wiping away crumbs with a napkin and offering words of encouragement. For a moment, she simply stood there, unnoticed, taking it all in. She saw how natural Alex was with Lily, how he seemed to understand her without needing instructions. It wasn't just professionalism, it was genuine care. Alex finally noticed Evelyn standing a few feet away and quickly stood up, straightening his apron. "Ma'am, I hope it's okay that I helped your daughter," he said, his tone polite but tinged with nervousness. "She seemed to be having trouble, so I thought." He trailed off, unsure if he overstepped. But Evelyn cut him off with a smile. "Thank you," she said sincerely, her voice soft but filled with gratitude. "You didn't have to do that. But I can see how much it meant to her." She glanced at Lily, who was still grinning, clearly enjoying the attention. Evelyn felt a lump rise in her throat. In a world where people often avoided looking directly at her daughter, here was someone who hadn't hesitated to step in, not out of obligation, but because it was the right thing to do. As they finished their meal and prepared to leave, Evelyn couldn't stop thinking about Alex. Who was this young man? What drove him to show such kindness to strangers? And why did his actions resonate so deeply with her? Before they left, she discreetly asked the manager for Alex's name and contact information, determined to learn more about the waiter whose simple gesture had left an indelible mark on her heart. As Alex's journey through medical school progressed, he began to understand the true meaning of giving back. Inspired by Evelyn's generosity and his own experiences growing up in a struggling family, he made it his mission to help those who had been overlooked or underserved. Every weekend, he volunteered at free clinics in low-income neighborhoods, offering basic checkups and health advice to families who couldn't afford regular care. These clinics became more than just places to practice medicine. They were safe spaces where people felt seen and valued. One particular Saturday morning stood out among the rest. A young boy named Marcus was brought in by his grandmother, who explained that he had cerebral palsy and hadn't received proper medical attention in months. The boy's condition immediately reminded Alex of Lily, and his heart ached for the challenges they must have faced. As he examined Marcus, Alex didn't rush through the process like some doctors might. Instead, he took his time, speaking softly to both the boy and his grandmother, answering their questions, and explaining what he could do to help. By the end of the visit, Marcus was smiling despite his discomfort, and his grandmother hugged Alex tightly, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "No one has ever treated us this way before." That moment stayed with Alex long after the clinic closed for the day. He realized how much of an impact compassion could have, not just on patients' physical health, but on their emotional well-being too. It wasn't enough to simply diagnose and treat. He needed to connect, to show them they mattered. This realization solidified his decision to specialize in pediatric medicine, focusing specifically on children with disabilities. He wanted to be the kind of doctor who saw beyond diagnosis and truly understood the lives behind them. Evelyn noticed the change in Alex during one of their dinners. He spoke animatedly about his volunteer work, describing each patient as if they were part of his own family. His eyes lit up when he talked about Marcus and other children he helped, and Evelyn could see the passion burning within him. She smiled proudly, knowing she had played a role in shaping the man he was becoming. "You're going to make such a difference," she said, her voice filled with admiration, not just because of your skills, but because of your heart. But Alex wasn't content to stop there. Determined to expand his reach, he started organizing workshops for parents of children with disabilities, teaching them practical ways to manage daily challenges while advocating for better resources in their communities. With Evelyn's guidance, he even launched a fundraising campaign to provide assistive devices, like wheelchairs and communication tools, for families who couldn't afford them. The campaign gained traction quickly, thanks in part to Evelyn's connections and influence, raising thousands of dollars in just weeks. Through all of this, Alex never forgot where he came from. He often invited his siblings to join him at the clinics, showing them the importance of helping others and inspiring them to pursue their own dreams. Watching him interact with patients, his younger brother once remarked, "You're not just fixing bodies, Alex, you're fixing hearts." Those words stuck with him, reinforcing why he had chosen this path in the first place. By the time Alex graduated from medical school, he had already touched countless lives. But he knew this was only the beginning. Standing in his cap and gown, surrounded by cheering classmates and professors, he looked out into the crowd and spotted Evelyn sitting beside Lily, clapping enthusiastically. Tears welled up in his eyes as he thought about how far he'd come and how much farther he still had to go. In that moment, he promised himself that he would honor Evelyn's belief in him by continuing to pay it forward, ensuring that no child ever felt invisible again. For Evelyn, seeing Alex succeed brought a sense of fulfillment she'd never experienced through wealth or business deals. She had given him opportunities, yes, but it was his hard work, empathy, and determination that transformed those opportunities into something extraordinary. Together, they proved that kindness has a ripple effect. It starts small but grows into something unstoppable, changing lives one person at a time. Alex stared at Evelyn, his mind struggling to process her words. "Help me. Achieve my dreams," he repeated slowly, as if testing the phrase on his tongue. It sounded too good to be true. For years, he had carried the weight of his responsibilities alone, convinced that his dream of becoming a doctor was slipping further out of reach with each passing day. And now, here was one of the most powerful women in the city offering him a lifeline. He wanted to believe her, but doubt lingered in the corners of his mind. Evelyn saw the hesitation in his eyes and leaned forward, her tone warm yet firm. "I mean it, Alex. I've built my life around creating opportunities for people who deserve them, and I can see your potential. You have a gift for kindness, resilience, and hard work. Those are qualities money can't buy." She paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. "I want to cover your tuition, provide financial support for your family, and connect you with mentors who can guide you through medical school. All I ask is that you stay true to yourself and use this opportunity to make a difference." Tears welled up in Alex's eyes, though he tried to blink them away. He wasn't used to accepting help, let alone from someone like Evelyn. Growing up, he had learned to fend for himself, to shoulder burdens without complaint. But deep down, he knew he couldn't turn down this chance, not when it meant everything to him and his siblings. Taking the shaky breath, he nodded. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I won't let you down." Over the next few weeks, Evelyn sprang into action, ensuring every detail was taken care of. She arranged meetings with admissions officers at top universities, secured scholarships to supplement her funding, and even hired tutors to help Alex prepare for entrance exams. Meanwhile, she set up a trust fund to ensure his younger siblings would have everything they needed while he pursued his education. To Alex, it felt like a miracle unfolding before his eyes, something he never imagined possible. But Evelyn didn't stop there. She invited Alex and his siblings over for dinner one evening, wanting to get to know the family whose lives she was about to change. The moment they walked into her penthouse apartment, the contrast between their worlds was stark. While Evelyn's home was filled with elegant furniture and breathtaking views of the skyline, Alex's siblings looked wide-eyed and unsure, clutching their worn backpacks tightly. Yet Evelyn greeted them with open arms, making sure they felt welcome. "Make yourselves at home," she said with a smile, ushering them toward the dining table where plates of food awaited. As they ate, Evelyn asked questions about their interests, their schoolwork, and their hopes for the future. She laughed at their jokes and encouraged them to share stories about Alex. It didn't take long for the tension to melt away, replaced by genuine warmth and connection. Watching Evelyn interact with his siblings, Alex felt a surge of gratitude unlike anything he'd ever experienced. She wasn't just helping him. She was investing in his entire family. Her generosity went beyond financial support. It was rooted in a desire to lift them all up, to give them a brighter future. For the first time in years, Alex allowed himself to dream big, imagining a life where he could make a real impact on the world. As the evening drew to a close, Evelyn pulled Alex aside for a quiet moment. "This is just the beginning," she told him, her expression serious but kind. "There will be challenges ahead. I won't sugarcoat that. But remember why you're doing this. Remember the difference you can make." Alex nodded, determination burning in his chest. He knew the road wouldn't be easy, but with Evelyn's guidance and unwavering belief in him, he felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. For Evelyn, seeing Alex's transformation was deeply fulfilling. She had spent so much of her life accumulating wealth and success, yet none of it compared to the joy of empowering someone else to chase their dreams. In Alex, she saw not just a protege, but a reflection of her own values: resilience, compassion, and an unshakable commitment to making the world a better place. Years passed, and the bond between Evelyn, Alex, and Lily grew stronger with each passing day. What had started as a chance encounter in a cafe blossomed into a lifelong partnership that touched countless lives. Alex's career flourished as he became one of the most respected pediatric doctors in the country, known not just for his medical expertise, but also for his compassion and dedication to children with disabilities. Meanwhile, Evelyn continued to champion causes close to her heart, using her wealth and influence to amplify the voices of those often ignored by society. Their foundation became a beacon of hope, funding groundbreaking research, building state-of-the-art facilities, and training healthcare professionals to provide inclusive care. One of their proudest achievements was the creation of Lily Center, a specialized clinic named after Evelyn's daughter. The center offered free treatments, therapy sessions, and educational programs for families navigating life with disabilities. It wasn't just a place of healing. It was a community where parents could share stories, kids could make friends, and everyone felt understood. For Evelyn, it was a tribute to her daughter's resilience and spirit. For Alex, it was proof that dreams fueled by kindness could change the world. As Alex treated patients at Lily Center, he often thought back to that fateful day in the cafe. He remembered how nervous he had been when Evelyn first approached him, unsure if she would approve of his actions. Now, they were family, bound not by blood but by shared values and purpose. Their weekly dinners remained a cherished tradition, though the conversations had shifted over time. Once focused on academic struggles and career goals, they now revolved around new projects, patient success stories, and plans to expand their reach even further. One evening, during one of these dinners, Evelyn surprised Alex with an unexpected gift, a photo album filled with memories from their journey together. There were pictures of Alex receiving his diploma, cutting ribbons at clinic openings, and laughing with children at Lily Center. One photograph stood out, a candid shot of Alex feeding Lily at the cafe, taken by a waiter who happened to witness the moment. Beneath it, Evelyn had written a simple caption: "The day everything changed." Tears welled up in Alex's eyes as he flipped through the pages, overwhelmed by how far they had come. For Evelyn, watching Alex succeed brought a fulfillment no business deal or luxury item ever could. She often reflected on the ripple effect of that single act of kindness, the way it had transformed not only Alex's life, but also hers and countless others. Raising Lily had taught her many lessons, but perhaps the greatest was this: True wealth isn't measured in dollars or possessions. It's measured in the connections we forge and the lives we impact. Through Alex, she had found a son she never knew she needed, someone who embodied the same values of empathy and determination she held dear. As for Lily, she thrived under the care and attention provided by the advancements funded by her mother's foundation. Assistive technology gave her a voice, allowing her to communicate more freely and express herself in ways she couldn't before. Her laughter still lit up rooms, but now it came with words, words that inspired everyone around her. "Thank you," she typed one day on her device during a visit to Lily Center, addressing both her mother and Alex. "You made my life better." Those 4 words meant everything to Evelyn and Alex. They weren't just a message of gratitude, they were a reminder of why they did what they did. Every late night spent planning campaigns, every early morning dedicated to treating patients, every sacrifice made along the way. It all came down to moments like this, moments that proved love and compassion could create a legacy far greater than any fortune. In the end, their story was about more than a billionaire mom and a struggling waiter. It was about the power of human connection, the importance of seeing people for who they are, and the belief that anyone can rise above adversity with the right support. Together, Evelyn and Alex showed the world that kindness has no limits, that it starts small but grows into something unstoppable, changing lives one person at a time. And as long as there were people willing to extend a helping hand, their legacy would live on forever. Evelyn's mind was a whirlwind as she and Lily left the cafe that afternoon. The image of Alex feeding her daughter with such patience and care replayed in her thoughts like a scene from a movie she couldn't turn off. It wasn't just what he had done, it was how he had done it. There was no hesitation, no awkwardness, no sense of obligation. Alex had treated Lily with dignity, kindness, and respect, qualities that Evelyn valued more than anything else in the world. She realized, as she helped Lily into the car, that this young man had reminded her of something she'd almost forgotten: the power of human connection. Back at home, Evelyn found herself replaying every detail of their interaction. She thought about how Alex had leaned in to listen to Lily, how he'd made her laugh despite her struggles, and how effortlessly he had stepped into a role most people would shy away from. For years, Evelyn had grown accustomed to stares, whispers, and even outright avoidance whenever she took Lily out in public. People often looked away or pretended not to notice, as if acknowledging Lily's disability might make things uncomfortable. But Alex hadn't done any of that. He had simply seen a person in need and acted with compassion. That night, as Lily drifted off to sleep, Evelyn sat by her bedside, watching her chest rise and fall with each peaceful breath. Her heart swelled with love for her daughter, but also with frustration at the barriers society placed around her. Raising Lily had taught Evelyn many lessons: patience, resilience, and the importance of fighting for those who couldn't fight for themselves. Yet there were moments when she felt powerless, unable to shield her child from judgment or indifference. Seeing Alex's actions earlier that day reignited a spark within her, a reminder that kindness still existed, even in unexpected places. The next morning, Evelyn called the cafe manager and asked for Alex's contact information. At first, the manager hesitated, citing privacy concerns, but Evelyn assured him she meant no harm. "I just want to thank him properly," she explained. Once she had Alex's number, she debated how best to approach him. Should she call, send a message, or perhaps arrange a meeting? After some thought, she decided on the latter. A simple phone call wouldn't do justice to the gratitude she wanted to express. When Alex received the invitation to meet with Evelyn, he was baffled. What could one of the wealthiest women in New York possibly want with him? Was he in trouble? Had he unknowingly done something wrong? His mind raced with possibilities as he made his way to her penthouse office days later. The sleek skyscraper where Evelyn worked seemed worlds apart from the modest apartment he shared with his siblings. As he stepped off the elevator onto the top floor, he couldn't help but feel out of place among the polished marble floors and modern art pieces lining the walls. Evelyn greeted him warmly, her demeanor putting him at ease almost immediately. "Thank you for coming, Alex," she said, gesturing for him to sit. They settled into plush chairs overlooking the city skyline, and Evelyn wasted no time getting to the point. "What you did for my daughter at the cafe. It meant more to me than I can put into words." Her voice softened as she spoke, revealing a vulnerability Alex hadn't expected. "You didn't have to go out of your way to help her, but you did. And the way you treated her, with such kindness and respect, it reminded me of why I started working so hard to create opportunities for others." Alex shifted uncomfortably in his seat, unsure how to respond. I saw someone who needed help, and I figured I could lend a hand," he stammered. "It wasn't a big deal." But Evelyn disagreed. "It was a big deal," she insisted, leaning forward slightly. "In a world where people often look away, you chose to step in. That matters more than you know." Then, after a pause, she added, "Tell me about yourself, Alex. What are your dreams?" This question caught him off guard. No one had asked him that in years, not since his scholarship fell through and life became a blur of work shifts and responsibilities. Hesitantly, he began sharing his story. His dream of becoming a doctor, his family's struggles, and the sacrifices he made daily to keep them afloat. Evelyn listened intently, her expression softening with each word. By the end of their conversation, she knew exactly what she wanted to do. "I believe in you, Alex," she said firmly, her eyes locking onto his. "Let me help you achieve your dreams." The day of Alex's graduation was nothing short of extraordinary. The university auditorium buzzed with excitement as proud families filled the seats, balloons and flowers in hand. For Evelyn and Lily, this wasn't just another ceremony. It was a celebration of resilience, gratitude, and the unbreakable bond they had formed with Alex over the years. Dressed in his cap and gown, Alex stood among his fellow graduates, his heart pounding with anticipation. He scanned the crowd until he spotted them. Evelyn, elegant as ever, and Lily, beaming beside her. Seeing them there made everything feel real. When Alex's name was called, he walked across the stage to receive his diploma, his steps steady but emotional. As he shook hands with the dean and posed for photos, he glanced toward Evelyn and Lily, who were clapping enthusiastically. Tears welled up in his eyes, not out of sadness, but from overwhelming joy and pride. This moment wasn't just for him. It was for everyone who had believed in him, supported him, and inspired him along the way. And none of it would have been possible without Evelyn. During the commencement speech segment, Alex was invited to address the audience as the valedictorian of his class. Standing at the podium, he took a deep breath, looking out at the sea of faces before him. His voice trembled slightly as he began. "Today is not just about me graduating. It's about the people who helped me get here." He paused, scanning the room until his gaze landed on Evelyn and Lily. "There's someone I need to thank publicly because without her, I wouldn't be standing here." He went on to share his story, speaking candidly about growing up in a struggling household, losing his scholarship, and working multiple jobs to support his family. "I thought my dream of becoming a doctor was slipping away," he admitted. "But then, something incredible happened. A woman named Evelyn Hartley saw potential in me when I couldn't see it myself. She didn't just give me financial support, she gave me hope. She reminded me that kindness can change lives." Turning toward Evelyn, who sat wiping tears from her eyes, Alex continued, "You didn't just invest in me. You invested in every patient I'll treat, every child I'll help, and every life I'll touch. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. And thank you for showing me what true generosity looks like." His words echoed through the auditorium, earning a standing ovation from the crowd. Even strangers wiped away tears, moved by his sincerity and humility. Evelyn felt a warmth spread through her chest, knowing that Alex had grown into not just a brilliant doctor, but an extraordinary human being. Lily clapped wildly, her face lighting up with pride. After the ceremony, Alex joined Evelyn and Lily outside, where hugs and congratulations flowed freely. "I meant every word I said up there," Alex told Evelyn earnestly. "You've changed my life forever." Evelyn smiled, pulling him into another embrace. "And you've reminded me why I do what I do," she replied softly. "This isn't the end, Alex. It's only the beginning." True to her word, Evelyn invited Alex to join her charitable foundation as its newest board member. Together, they launched initiatives aimed at improving healthcare access for children with disabilities. They partnered with hospitals to create specialized pediatric units, funded research for innovative treatments, and advocated for policy changes to ensure equal opportunities for all. Alex brought fresh ideas and first-hand experience to the table, while Evelyn provided resources and connections that amplified their impact. Their partnership became a force to be reckoned with. News outlets covered their work extensively, shining a spotlight on the importance of compassion in medicine. People around the world were inspired by their story, a billionaire mother and a once struggling waiter coming together to make a difference. Through their combined efforts, they transformed countless lives, proving that collaboration and empathy could break down barriers that seemed insurmountable. For Alex, joining Evelyn's foundation felt like coming full circle. Every project they worked on reminded him of how far he'd come, from feeding Lily at the cafe to helping thousands of children like her lead better lives. And for Evelyn, seeing Alex thrive gave her a sense of purpose she hadn't felt in years. Together, they created a legacy rooted in love, kindness, and the belief that anyone can rise above adversity with the right support. Their journey showed that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can spark the biggest changes. With Evelyn's support, Alex's life began to transform in ways he could never have imagined. He enrolled in pre-med courses at a prestigious university, juggling lectures, labs, and late-night study sessions while still working part-time to contribute to his family. Though the workload was overwhelming at times, Alex approached every challenge with determination, driven by the knowledge that he wasn't doing this just for himself. He was doing it for his siblings, for Evelyn, and for all the people he hoped to help one day. The transition wasn't easy. For someone who had spent years balancing work and family responsibilities, sitting in a classroom felt foreign. There were moments when self-doubt crept in, whispering that maybe he didn't belong here, that perhaps he was out of his depth. During one particularly grueling chemistry exam, Alex stared blankly at the questions, his mind foggy from lack of sleep. He wondered if he'd made a mistake accepting Evelyn's offer, if he was setting himself up for failure. But then he remembered Lily, the way she smiled as he fed her at the cafe, and Evelyn's unwavering belief in him. Those memories became his anchor, pulling him back from the edge of doubt and pushing him forward. Evelyn noticed the toll the workload was taking on Alex and made sure to check in regularly. Their weekly dinners became more than just casual meals. They turned into lifelines for Alex. Over plates of pasta or steaming bowls of soup, he poured out his frustrations and triumphs, sharing stories of difficult professors, confusing equations, and the occasional small victory that reminded him why he started this journey in the first place. Evelyn listened intently, offering advice when needed but mostly providing encouragement and reassurance. "You're stronger than you think," she would say, her voice steady and full of conviction. "And you're not alone." One evening, during one of these dinners, Alex opened up about his struggles with time management. Between classes, work, and caring for his siblings, he often found himself stretched too thin. Evelyn nodded thoughtfully before suggesting practical solutions, like hiring a tutor for his siblings so they could focus on their studies, or adjusting his work schedule to free up more time for school. She also shared personal anecdotes from her own early days as a businesswoman, recounting how she once stayed awake for 3 days straight to meet a deadline. Her vulnerability helped Alex realize that everyone faces obstacles. It's how you overcome them that matters. Despite the challenges, Alex began to find his rhythm. His grades improved, and he discovered a passion for biology, marveling at the complexity of the human body and its ability to heal. Each new concept he learned fueled his excitement for the future, reminding him of the lives he could touch as a doctor. On weekends, he volunteered at local clinics, shadowing physicians and assisting patients in underserved communities. These experiences solidified his desire to specialize in pediatric medicine, particularly in helping children with disabilities, a decision inspired by Lily and the countless others like her. Meanwhile, Evelyn watched Alex grow with pride, seeing glimpses of the man he was becoming. She admired his resilience, his ability to adapt, and his unwavering compassion. Their bond deepened over time, evolving into something akin to family. When Alex celebrated his first academic milestone, a perfect score on a major exam, he called Evelyn immediately, his voice trembling with excitement. "I couldn't have done it without you," he said, his gratitude evident in every word. Evelyn simply smiled, knowing that while she had given him opportunities, it was Alex's hard work and heart that truly carried him through. But amidst the victories, there were also setbacks. One semester, Alex failed a crucial lab course after struggling to balance his job and studies. The failure hit him hard, shaking his confidence. For days, he avoided Evelyn's calls, ashamed of letting her down. When she finally reached him, her tone was gentle but firm. "Failure isn't the end, Alex," she told him. "It's part of the journey. What matters is what you do next." With her encouragement, Alex retook the course, dedicating himself fully this time. Passing it with flying colors taught him an invaluable lesson. Perseverance pays off. As months turned into years, Alex grew not only as a student but as a person. He learned to manage stress, prioritize his responsibilities, and lean on others when needed. Through it all, Evelyn remained a constant source of strength, cheering him on every step of the way. Together, they proved that success isn't achieved alone. It's built on trust, support, and the courage to keep going, even when the path feels uncertain.